Oh, I love you so much. I am Astarius Miraculi, and I bring a very important message today. The message is eternal celebration. Every moment is a cause for eternal celebration. It's time to remember that, to live in the beauty of that and the blessing of that. And I'm speaking about eternal celebration and the resonance and the spirit of celebration because we are now in these holiday times. And the holiday season can have many different impacts upon people. Some people experience great joy during the time of holidays, and some people experience sadness for various reasons. And what I'm here to point out is that there is a frequency that is available during the holiday season that is a very powerful something. Holiday, which is a holy day. The holidays are holy days. And when you look at, what is a holy day? It is to see in the spirit of the holy day is to see a day or a segment of time in the light of its highest possibilities. And so we see this impact that happens with people during the holiday season, where oftentimes the spirits can be very, very high. People get the Christmas spirit or the Kwanzaa spirit or the Hanukkah spirit. There's many different celebrations that take place during these times, and it's really important that we look for what are the commonalities, rather than saying my mode of celebration is better than your mode of celebration. Christmas is not better than Kwanzaa. Kwanzaa is not better than Hanukkah. Because each is a focal point of celebration. And even if you're not necessarily at resonance with a particular type of celebration that one engages in, it's important to celebrate the fact that it does something amazing for them. Even if it's not what you resonate with, if you celebrate that someone else resonates with it and it brings them joy and it brings them empowerment, then you are making way for the universe to receive the blessing of that particular celebration. And also you receive a blessing from it, just by honoring that it is a beautiful something for someone else, celebrating the fact that it is an empowerment for someone else. You may be into Hanukkah, but celebrate the fact that Christmas brings certain people joy. You may be into Christmas, but celebrate the fact that Kwanzaa brings joy. And then there's so many different modes of celebration. And there is a oneness of wholeness of celebration, just like there is a oneness of wholeness of being. The first celebration was that which emanated from our Creator upon the creation of the universe, when God created everything and then sat back and said it, and it was very good. That was the celebration of that which the Most High had brought into manifestation. So I'm here to remind us to be in a greater measure of celebration during these times. Celebration is the face of gratitude. When you celebrate something, you're in a state of gratitude. You're in a state of appreciation. When you're in celebration, you're in a mode of seeing with the eye of God. Just as God said, and it was very good. It's important that we say about our own life, and it is very good. And yes, there may be challenges and difficulties that exist within our lives, but we don't have to give all of the attention to those challenges and those difficulties. No matter how difficult life may be for you, there are so many other things that represent an amazing blessing. The problem is sometimes those things aren't given the attention. There is a human tendency to give more attention to the negative side of life. We see that in the news. You don't have a lot of good news, that we can look at television and watch. Usually the news is reflecting horrible and horrendous things, and people become fascinated by the negative. But it's time that we begin to engage in being fascinated by that which is exalted, that which is beautiful, that which is joyous, that which brings bliss. Bliss is a greater available resonance during the holiday times, during these holy days. So, celebration is this exalted spirit, like the spirit of celebration during the holiday times, brings an amazing energy and a frequency that is available to us because vibrations are higher. There's a momentum of energy that is stronger than usual. During all of the different holidays, they all represent some mode of celebration. Now, one of the traps of the holidays is sometimes we get caught in the commercialism of a holiday, like Christmas, which is related to the birth of Christ, and I would like to say the birth of Christ consciousness. And Christ consciousness is a resonance that represents the sonship of God, regardless of what religion you are. It is that essence of the Son of God, that qualitative extension of God, that is the microcosmic container of God, God being the macrocosmic all that is, and the sonship, which is the individualization of God, is like the microcosmic container. And that's what the Christ principle is like. And regardless of what name you call it, the Christ principle has some applicability in every religion, though called by different terms. And so, yes, there's a commercialism that comes in sometimes, and sometimes it's an opportunity, or when many people try to promote as many sales as they can, and sometimes we lose the sight of what this resonance, particularly Christmas, is all about. And yet, at the same time, there is a wisdom in not judging the commercialism. You don't have to resonate with it. I personally don't resonate with the dark side of commercialism. When I look at Christmas, I see it as an opportunity to be at resonance with the spirit of the Christ. That spark of divinity that exists within me that enables me to be my own version of Godhood. That's what we each are. That's the gift that we give to the Most High. That we are our own version of Godhood, our own version of the whole universe. And nobody can do the universe exactly like you, as nobody can do the universe exactly like me. So sometimes we fall into the trap of having a negative response to the commercialism. You see, we don't have to join in with it, but at the same time, we don't want to have a negative response to it or a negative reaction to it, because if we have a negative reaction to the commercial side of these holy days, then what we're doing is we're feeding that negativity, because negativity simply breeds more negativity. So it's like, how can you be in a place of neutrality? Being able to say, no, I don't dance in that way, but I don't have to wage war with it either. Oftentimes when we wage war with something that we don't agree with, it's a reflection of our own sense of insecurity, that we need other things or other people to be in agreement with what we are personally choosing in order to feel comfortable about our own position. So don't wage war with the commercial side of the holy days. And choose the most exalted experience that you possibly can. And know that there is an exalted spirit that is available through this time, this season. Now, sometimes, many people have lost a beloved passed on during the holiday season, and sometimes over and over and over again, whenever that time comes around, there is a sense of sadness because they lost a beloved at that time. And so they're not able to find any joy in the holiday season because a beloved passed on at that time, or they had a very painful breakup at that time. But you don't want to associate these times of celebration with painful experiences that you went through. Yes, you may have had those experiences. I personally just recently experienced my mother crossing over. She passed on, just very, very recently. And yes, there's a part of me that would love to be able to share with her during the holiday seasons, and yet rather than being in the pain of her not being here in a body, what I'm going to do is I'm going to look for the ways in which we are in connection with her arcing from spirit and me arcing from flesh, because we have a new dynamic of relationship. She has not ceased to be. She laid her body down, but who she is as being is still a reality. And so it is with your beloveds, if you have a beloved that has passed on. So don't give your power away to losses that you may have had during times of celebration or during times of the holidays. And always, look for ways in which you can maximize the minimum. Rather than looking at the loss, if you're always giving attention to the loss, then what is happening is that you're seeing the glass as half empty. And if you're seeing the glass as half empty, you're minimizing the maximum. And therefore, what is seen as half empty is in the potential of emptying. If you were to flip it and maximize the minimum, seeing the glass as half full, then that which is seen as half full is in the potential of filling. So look for what is rather than what isn't. And again, look for the commonalities. Even if another person dances in a different way, what are the ways in which we have something in common? How is it that we can experience a mutual empowerment? And also during the holiday times, you want to be in the spirit of the sacred yes. If you go and spend time with family during the holidays, let it be a sacred yes. Do so with fullness of heart. If you're not able to do it with fullness of heart, it may be better to say the sacred no. And don't go in the physical sense. Keep your heart open, but sometimes in order to keep your heart open, you have to put some distance between you and certain people because you resonate very differently, even certain family members. Sometimes you have to say, I'm loving you from over here, and sometimes I'm loving you from way over here. But at the same time, keep your heart open. Stay in a spirit of love. Say the sacred yes, not the unsacred yes. If necessary, the sacred no. It's a matter of what is in a reflection of, or what is reflecting your highest integrity. If you feel resentment when you're spending time with someone, and you're feeling resentment because you feel like you have to do it, but you really don't want to do it, that's an unsacred yes. So don't inflict that upon yourself, and do whatever you can do to be in the joy of sharing time with those that you share time with, and also own the joy that you witness in others. When you see others, being in an exalted spirit, during the holiday times, really join in with that exaltation. Say, oh my God, what a wonderful time I'm having through that part of me. Because when you're in that kind of celebration, you create a soul jump start for yourself. And that which you see, that is an exalted resonance within them begins to vibrate within you also. So let's celebrate the goodness that we see in all others. There is a oneness of wholeness, of goodness, a oneness of wholeness, of good feelings. And even when we see others that may be behaving in negative ways and hurtful ways toward others, let's believe in the power of redemption for all people, no matter how horribly they may be behaving. Because if we let the way that we see them and the way that we speak about them be an affirmation of that horrible behavior, we are simply an accessory to the horrible behavior. Because the way in which we're thinking about it is feeding it. Instead, rather than seeing them as an affirmation of that horribleness, see a higher possibility. They may not be fulfilling that higher possibility, but see that for them. And when you see that for them, you have then made a deposit within their soul bank. They may not withdraw that deposit for lifetimes, and yet it will stay there in their soul bank, accumulating interest. And at such time that they evolve to a place of readiness, they will withdraw that wonderful deposit that you made into their soul bank by believing in them, by believing in the redemption of their being, by believing in the higher possibilities of the way that they could show up in life. This is what God does. God is always seeing the higher possibility within all of us. God is not mad with anybody. And God is not urgent for anybody to hurry up and behave, no matter what men and women may project onto the Creator. If the Creator was going to be urgent for us to behave a particular way, then God would have used God's all-powerfulness to make us behave, because God is that powerful. But rather than making us do anything, God gave us free will and free choice, that we could choose, to act in exalted ways or go the negative path. But there's a knowingness within the Most High that eventually we'll all come home, just like the prodigal son. So let us see the higher possibilities of every being. Believe in the redemption of every being. Believe in the redemption of your own self. No matter how many mistakes you've made. I know, God knows, I have stumbled and I've made crazy mistakes and I've been unkind to people and all kinds of things, before I came into a resonance with this spiritual path that I'm on. And so I'm a living example of how a being can be redeemed. I remember in my early life, from age 16 to 22, I was a dishonor student in the University of Life's other side of the fence, growing up in the treacherous, ghettos of Chicago, being a part of that treachery. And God held space for me and saw me through that and brought me to a place where I could, make positive use of that which I have been given and be a catalyst for lifting up and raising up other people's vibration as well as my own. So believe in the redemption of yourself. Believe in the redemption of others. So I now want to recite to you a poem that I wrote many years ago called The Magic of Christmas, which, kind of encapsulates the way that I feel about how it's important for us to approach the holiday season. So, oh, the magic of Christmas. Did you ever tune in when the Christ must spirit overtakes the hearts of men, when strangers greet saying Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year? The vibrations of Christ consciousness pervade the atmosphere. Oh, this magical time of year has the whole world enchanted. It brings a very lofty feeling of which it's wise to take advantage. Prepare your mental manger, unto Christ be not a stranger. Let King Jesus be born in you, and thus escape the wrath of danger. Jesus said we're one with God, and the power of Christ is in us. If you say Jesus in slow motion, you'll discover, gee, he's us. What? Gee, he's us? Yes, gee, he's us. So let Christ be born in you through the magic of Christmas time, and find your soul transformed by the renewing of your mind. So you accept my proposition to what I'm saying? You do adhere. Now watch your life enrich itself during the glorious brand new year. Well, my mission is accomplished. May you shine bright as that eastern star, but always remember Christ must. And then, Happy New Ye Are. So I believe in the core of this thing that we call the Christmas spirit is really the Christ must spirit. And I believe that, when for example, the angel said, to Mary, that the Christ must be born, and that Mary might have said, well, how can this be if this is immaculate conception? What am I going to tell my husband, who I've not been with? And it was like, I could hear, in the silences of my soul, the Holy Spirit saying, Mary, Christ must be born through you. So this is the Christ must spirit. And we do see that strangers greet each other in a different way, that people are a little bit warmer towards each other. Not every single person, but many people tend to put forth a greater effort to be warmer towards each other during the holiday season, because it carries a spirit that pulls that out. The vibrations of Christ consciousness pervade the atmosphere. And this magical time of year has the whole world enchanted, and it brings a very lofty feeling of which it's wise to take advantage. So we want to take advantage of these vibrations, and we prepare our mental manger, allowing King Jesus to be born in us. He's us. Or just us. We have that Christ principle within us. And then we want to see the marriage between Christmas, between Kwanzaa, between Hanukkah, and all of the different celebrations. Look at the oneness of the wholeness of the celebration. And then, Happy New Ye Are. That's Happy New Year. Happy New Ye Are. And the power of that transitioning from one year to the next is the whole power of the preceding year, and the upcoming year is available in the moment of transitioning. So be really mindful of the intentions and thoughts that you're holding at the moment of midnight, as you enter into the new year. So with all of this, I'm going to now offer some didgeridoo, and when I play my didgeridoo, and this is I have resurrected this one here. This is I now call it Phoenix Ascension. Initially, it was in the key of D when I made it years ago, and now I've refashioned it so it's in the key of F, which is the heart chakra. And what I'm now doing is I'm going to channel the oneness of the wholeness of the spirit of celebration. Every celebration that is, was, or ever will be, going all the way back to the celebration in the heart of our Creator upon the creation of the universe. And to bring into harmonic convergence of this moment the spirit of celebration at large. And I want you to apply it to your own personal celebrations and your own life intentions, because this is a very powerful moment. The oneness of the wholeness of the celebration.
Wow.
Blessed be the sacredness of this divine moment. Life is delicious. As my little daughter used to say when she was a baby, she had some food that she really loved. She'd raise her fork and she'd say, "Licious!" Life is licious. So thank you, beloved, for receiving this transmission, and thank you in advance for remembering the spirit of celebration, remembering the different layers of what celebration means, and that celebration is a choice, that you don't have to wait for external conditions to give you a reason to celebrate. You can celebrate in advance, and that inner celebration will then begin to create external manifestations of things about which you can have even bigger celebration. I am Astarius Miraculi. I love you so much. And be sure and click on my link and go to my website. I have a number of CDs and some books available for you. I also, on my website, I have a donation button. If you feel moved and touched by that which I am offering, I open my heart to graciously receive any and all donations and tithes and any purchases of my music and my books and services. Thank you so much for playing in the field of win-win with me. And thank you for remembering the glory of your own being. Thank you so much for loving on yourself. Thank you for recognizing the fact that you really count. Thank you for knowing that the expansion of the universe is at the mercy of you being all of you, and that when you're all of you, the universe is more glorified in response to that. So you have an amazing opportunity to be a gift unto the universe by simply showing up as you, being your own version of the universe, your own version of the Most High. Aho, Ashe, Amen, Namaste, Hotep, in Lakesh, Alakin, Shalom, Satnam, Hariom. Up at the top, there's room for all. It's just the bottom that's crowded, y'all.